Hey everyone, so this week we're going to be talking about productization in your service for your agency. But I wanted to start off actually with a story of a client that we've been working with now for just about a year. So when we first started actually working with the client, he was working substantial amount of hours every day. Typically, as he mentioned, he was working anywhere between 10 to 12 hours a day, usually 7 days a week. And he actually wanted to engage with us to have a conversation around how he could get to a place where he was having financial security, being able to actually have time, and not feeling like he was working so hard. And the onerous on this, and there was a short timeline that he needed to be able to adjust things within his agency, because he was having his firstborn was actually coming in a couple of months, in three or 4 months from that point that he initially started engaging with us. And we went through quite a few things to be able to allow for him to be able to reorganize his organization. But the most impactful thing that he did was actually productizing his service, allowing for him to be able to create a system around delivery that didn't actually require him to be involved, not doing things that covered the gamut of different services that each client needed, essentially taking orders from clients and executing on it as he needed. And having the experience that he had, he was able to do that. And he was just truly able to actually figure things out and be able to get the client results, but took a lot of time to be able to do that, and why he was working such an obscene amount of hours. So we actually went through and helped him productize his service, creating a system around how it was actually delivered so that it didn't actually require his involvement. When he first started working with us, he was on a project-oriented basis. He was selling websites between $10,000 to $12,000. And so what we ended up doing is we ended up first creating 3 packages that his clients could choose from, and he would give a recommendation on what it was and how they functioned and which one is best suited for them, and actually turned his project-oriented cost into a monthly reoccurring revenue cost with a lower cost of entry for the client, getting him to a place where he was profitable in that first 60, 90 days, allowing for him to have a regular amount of income every single month, and actually turning that $12,000 project into a $24,000 to $36,000 amount of income over the course of time, continuing to increasing the amount of touch points that he actually had with the client, actually truly helping them and helping them being able to generate the results. So I'm going to share my iPad with you to give you an understanding of the sort of 2 concepts that you can look at when it comes to productization. I'm a big firm believer in the concept of having the good, better, best, the sort of ABC model. The one that I was describing with that client is that we had 3 different packages that had delineated services in each package actually increasing, and everything from each package on the prior included everything from the prior package. So everything from package C included everything from A and B as well, and each package increasing in cost, obviously. So the way that he did it was that we had each package including a number of different services on what exactly was to be included. This can be done slightly differently. When you think about the type of client that you have and actually having a specific amount off-the-shelf type service offering may or may not work. For him, it did because of the type of client that he was working with and his specific industry. It doesn't always work that way though. So what you can also do is essentially have all the services listed above, where you're creating a bit more of a bespoke type proposal for them, where you have an understanding of the cost of every service that you're going to be ultimately offering. So you're able to actually take from, say, package A, they need these 4 services for package A. For package B, increasing the touch point, we're going to say that they need these 4 services there. And for package C, they are going to need ultimately these 4 services here. Being able to then total the cost of, for package A, the individual cost of every service, ideally on a monthly basis. I'm a big proponent on the monthly recurring revenue model, allowing for you to have true profitability, projections easier, and have consistent revenue on a monthly basis and not have these peaks and valleys. But really being able to truly have an understanding around what it is that you are ultimately going to be offering to them. So these are the 2 primary models around productization and how you can actually go about doing it. I wanted to give you 3 tips around how you can actually start thinking about your productization, because this is the concept around it, but how do you actually apply it, right? So the first and number 1 thing is I want you to think about your niche. Who it is that is your ideal client. What do they need? What's actually going on? What's going to ultimately really truly help them? And 2 is, what are you truly amazing at? There's things, and I'm sure there's services, things that you are phenomenal at, that is your zone of genius. There's things that you're probably, you're okay at, but not phenomenal. And then there's things that you're probably not so great at, but you're doing it and doing it at a passing grade, but not truly phenomenal. And you're not getting the best results with the clients for that. And ultimately, likely speaking, not creating the best client relationship because you're delivering that service. And if you are delivering it where the client isn't really truly noticing that it's not a phenomenal result in the inside, you're actually working truly hard internally. You personally, as the agency owner, are incredibly involved in that project to allow for it to actually be able to execute on it and for the client to get the result. And number 3, you want to actually look at the pricing for your productization based on value. So ultimately, what is the outcome that that ideal client is looking for? And really thinking about the expertise that you have, not based on the number of hours that it's going to take to execute. What is the value, the outcome that that client is there to get? And how is it actually going to help them accomplish their goals? And what is the actual, essentially, return on investment? And you may be saying to me, hey, Robert, I'm a creative agency, a design agency, and we can't actually understand ROI. I won't dispute that necessarily. I think that there are ways that we can measure it and how it actually increases the effectiveness, and if they're running ads, if it's a brand, how much brand recognition, referrals, all that type of things. What are the lifetime value of the client increases? All of those types of things do happen with the brand, but you may or may not have that information, right? I want you to think about what is the cost and risk associated with them not executing on it really well, because that could also ultimately damage them from being able to get to their end goal. So what is the goal ultimately that they are looking to get? What is the risk level associated with them not accomplishing it? And that is where the value is going to be for you. So just think about it in that standpoint, is where are they? What's actually going on? And making sure that you're thinking about, they are here, they want to get here. What is the risk associated with it? And ultimately, how likely are they to accomplish their goal when working with us? How often have we been able to help people truly be able to accomplish their goal? And then finally, where you're thinking about it is, what is truly your competitive edge to your competition? Is there any other agency that's focused on that particular niche, that specific ideal client, offering the same type of services? What is the difference between you? Is it the number of years? Is it the results? Is it your case studies? Is it you specifically in your history within that industry? What is your competitive edge? We want to really have an understanding of who you are, your true differentiator, and why they want to work with you. Why, out of every other agency that's out there, want to work with you? If you're not really sure, let's spend a little time trying to figure that out and write down all the different potentials of why you are ultimately the right choice. But let's not go with the bland, generic response of, I'm the number one agency that does X, Y, Z. Because ultimately speaking, that doesn't differentiate you. It makes you sound the same. So let's look at your true ultimate differentiator, allowing for your ideal client to feel safe, secure, and ultimately a no-brainer to want to work with you. If you have any questions around any of what we've spoken about today and how to go about productizing your service, feel free to reach out, comment below, or shoot us a DM. We're absolutely